Thanks everybody for coming. You got Jennifer Herseg and myself. We're going to dive into some really important waiver stuff going on. So like usual, so dive in, stick around. Jennifer, are you excited?
I'm excited. I'm excited to see what you're about to share.
I'm about to talk a whole lot of shit. So we're just going to get to it. You guys know my style nowadays. We're just going to dive right in. So let me get that prepped and share my screen. And we're just going to dive right in, folks. All right, Jennifer, let me know when you can see this.
I can see it.
We got to figure out how to make this smaller. There we go. Okay, looks good?
Yep, I can read it.
Perfect. All right, folks. So we're going to discuss with you a recent internal investigation that we did. And by we, I mean two of our directors, Katie Wilds and Jennifer Herseg, the deputy executive director, did. I did not do this, but did a fantastic job. And we're going to kind of walk through it. So we redacted the individual that we are serving still, and the behavior consultant, their information, right? Those specific details are not pertinent, right? So what we're going to show is we conducted an internal investigation in March, completed by Katie Wilds, and then obviously reviewed and finalized with you, Jennifer. So I'm just going to read it real quick, and then we're going to dive into the discussion about it. But case manager Amy from I think she was IPMG, I don't remember. She filed an incident report regarding an individual, and the IR stated the individual became physically aggressive during a quarterly meeting, if I remember correctly, and our behavior consultant had to restrain the individual. When that happens, we are required to suspend that person immediately, pending investigation. So immediately upon us finding out, which was the incident report, getting emailed over to us, he was immediately suspended, and we conducted our investigation. So SBS investigated the incident by interviewing the mother, the individual, and the behavior consultant, and obviously reading the information provided by the case manager, right, on the IR, because they were all present. In response to our internal investigation, we substantiated that the individual had become physically aggressive, and during that situation, our behavior consultant was on the ground with him and held his wrists. Now, the details to me aren't, I don't need to dive into that, right? Every situation has a million different variables. For me, the simplicity of it is we are barred from physical restraints. We just are. It's a rule. It's a rule. It's not a law.
Right.
It's a rule. One of our behavior consultants broke that rule. It doesn't make him a bad person. It doesn't make him a bad behavior consultant. It was an escalated situation in which all of us social workers have been in at some point in time. I still tell the story about the last kid who headbutted me, held direct eye contact and just clonked me and never broke eye contact afterwards. And he was like 17 at the time, and I was already, a grown man. And I still remember, you didn't break eye contact. That part was scarier than the headbutt,
Right.
So it happens, right? Altercations happen. I'm not faulting this person. Things happen. You did what you felt was best in the moment to protect yourself, protect other people. Fine. I liken it to rear-ending somebody on the road. You didn't mean to. It doesn't mean you have bad character. It doesn't mean you're a bad person, but you're still fully accountable. Your car insurance you're legally required to carry car insurance, which will take care of it. You got to pay your deductible. You're fully accountable, and you have to make it right, or, there's a consequence, despite it wasn't, malintent. You're still accountable. And that's how we regard our behavior consultants. So no, I don't think he's a bad person or a bad behavior consultant, but you held his wrists. That's a restraint. It's a physical restraint. We're not allowed to do that. So he was issued a 3-day unpaid suspension. And if anybody's out there wondering how we can do that with 1099 contractors, the answer is very easily. It's not hard. If anybody needs to know, just hit me up. It's very easy. So yeah, he was suspended for 3 days and is able to return to work today. Then he sat with Katie and was retrained on a variety of topics and reviewed different, alternative things that he could do. And also some of us more seasoned veterans, produced some armchair advice in the sense that I wasn't there. I cannot truly contemplate what you were going through. But here are some examples of some stuff I've done in the past. Like when I had the young man that used to chase me, I would just run around the car.
Running around the car. I remember that. Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm not saying I can completely relate because I wasn't there. I don't know this individual. I don't know any of it. But nonetheless, you're accountable. And he was held accountable. And he served his
Yeah.
suspension. He's back to work, and we move forward. That's it. It's completed. We took this investigation form that everybody can see, and we took the narratives of the witness statements and his completed training, and we put it all together as a PDF, and we put it into that individual's portal, in their document library, in the DDARS portal. Full transparency. We, not now, not ever, have had anything to hide. You know, if somebody at our agency makes a mistake, we'll figure it out. And now, if it was malintent, we'll figure it out. And if it was like this, we'll still figure it out. Like, you don't get a free pass. Nobody does, you know?
Well, and is there a pervasive belief that if you're a consultant, like there's no control, right? I feel like I've heard that before, that, or not a consultant, but a contractor. Like you're working at a 1099, you're not an employee, therefore the company has no control over what you do. You can do whatever
Absolutely
you want.
not.
Everyone is still governed by the waiver rules. Everyone has
And
to
by
follow.
our rules.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're completely right. There is this misconception out there that, like, oh, they're 10 and 9, you can't control them. I can't control their schedule. I can't control how much or how little they want to work. Those are their choices. If they want to take on one client or 30, you should not be taking on 30. But that's their prerogative. And I can't tell them that they're going to work you're going to see client A on Monday, client B on, no, they're in full control of all of that. Yes, under the umbrella of our policies and under the umbrella of the regulations. You have to follow all of that. And, you know, if you break the rules, there's consequences. We have no obligation to retain a vendor, you know? But outside of malintent and something really egregious, like, we're all human beings. We're going to understand that this man was in a situation, maybe he hasn't been in many of them. Maybe the adrenaline got the best of him. It happens. I used to be young once too, and it happened to me. So we retrain. You get a suspension because you rear-ended somebody, so you're still accountable, and then we move forward. And I don't need to hound him or anybody about it again. And obviously, unless it occurs again, but we won't cross that bridge unless it, arrives. And so, yeah, no, we can control quality, we can't control accountability, and we can't control our expectation. And ours is high, you know? Absolutely. No, I don't care if they're W-2 or 1099. I'd treat them the same in that regard. You know, the W-2 is different in the sense that I can say, hey, your salary is this and you work Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, versus the 1099 is this is how much I'll pay you for the amount of work that you decide to do. But at the same time, we do have the control to limit it. Like, as a vendor, I have no requirement to let you carry 30 clients. Like, we can implement a policy that says, hey, your cap is 20. And if you don't like that, you can go vend at another agency, or you could be vending at 3 agencies at once.
Exactly. So I'll say, as a contractor, you can.
Yeah. So, like, if you don't like how high our quality and expectations are, I know plenty of places you can go over there and do, subpar work. Like, I could name a dozen agencies, like, they'll take you. They just want the money,
Right.
So the big reason why people, I'm hoping, will sit there and go, well, why the hell are they showing us this, right? And what we're going to talk about today is why we're showing you this, why we decided to publish this and bring it forth to the waiver community, is because the last time we did this and had a substantiated investigation and told the truth, Jennifer, I'll let you, take it from there, because I think you were lead on it for a while until shit went south, which in my opinion wasn't your fault. I remember when it happened, when shit went really south from a phone call you made. And to this day, the phone call that you made, in my opinion, we now know we're never going to do again. But at the time, we didn't know any better, and it was an appropriate phone call. Like, you should have been able to call them, and it should have been a good conversation, and then it should have been a respectful, professional situation, and then it devolved. And I'll let you kind of take the wheel for a little bit on that.
Yeah. So what was it, 2022? It's been like 2 years now, I feel like.
Oh, yeah. Early, like summer 22? Approximately,
so, like,
yes.
I feel like I was in my first year as being a regional director. I think I was in the first year. No, I wasn't. Well,
I mean, you were like within a year of being on, but yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right.
And I just, remember reviewing this behavior consultant's billing and going, this is not right. There's a lot wrong with this billing. And we would go back and forth. No, you have to fix this. No, you can't do that. Do it this way. This is not, you can't bill this or that. And with each one of those corrections, it would just be something new that would come up. And eventually, I think, as you were brought into it and we were both starting to address the billing issues with this person, which really was excessive billing of budgets at ridiculous amounts. And
Heard.
I feel like, we had either some case managers or some families or someone call and say, we haven't seen it.
Yeah, if you'll let me jump right into that, So yeah, so what we had is we had a mother call and say, hey, just checking in. Like we haven't seen our BC in like 3 weeks, right? Just checking in. And so, yeah, okay, fair enough. Let's dive in, find out. So I go look at his billing and I call her back and I go, I have him documenting that he was there, these 5 dates of this last month. And she goes, no, he was here on this date. I canceled on this date and he canceled on these. And so time for an investigation.
Yeah.
Time for an investigation. And so we investigated. In our opinion, we determined enough to substantiate it and err on the side of caution and revoke his subcontract agreement.
Right.
You know what I mean? So we did. We investigated, we revoked his subcontract agreement, and we then unfortunately learned our lesson and made the mistake of telling beads.
I called beads. Yeah.
Called
Because
beads.
he was no longer with us. And I was like, he's just going to go somewhere else and do this because
Yes.
he had done it somewhere else before and came to us and did it. And so he was just going to go somewhere else and do it.
Before
And
you
I
keep
called,
going, the word on the street is that he is up in the northeast region over at Stride Behavioral, still practicing because nothing gets done to these guys. Sorry to cut you
no.
off, but
Well, no, and I mean and that was the fear, right? Is that this kind of fraud, right, was just going to continue. And so I called Beats because I thought, well, they can surely do something, right? Beats can do something to stop a behavior consultant that is completely unethical and just literally criminal in the way that he would bill.
criminal.
Um, yeah.
So
And
what
so,
were you told?
are you going to segue now?
No. What were you told?
I was told, I'm sorry, we cannot go after a behavior consultant. We can only go after a company.
And what did they fucking do?
They came after us.
And they came
And
after us
even though
hard.
we had um stopped his work with us, we had
Voided the claims,
investigated,
paid it back.
paid back the claims. They came back and investigated us and said you had not done what you were supposed to do. I can't remember the exact wording of what they
No,
said.
they made shit up. So they come back and this is where I got upset because they came and gave us 4 caps. The first 4 caps our agency had ever received in our entire history. So we get 4 comprehensive corrective action plans caps. So, which obviously pisses me off because I'm on the phone with Amy Sears from Liberty of Indiana, who's Robin Corrothers' supervisor. I'm on the phone with her. We have that recording for later. And I expressed to her, why in the hell are we ever going to come to you guys again? And her answer was, it's the right thing to do. The right thing to do is respect us as professionals. The ones out here in the trenches, we handled our shit and we moved forward. But then they drug us into a 6-month ordeal. And why, in my opinion, is because I called out them and Kelly Hartman. Because what we didn't know, that we do now know, and we're going to be completely diving into that today, is the behavior consultant was David Martin. Many in the industry know who this asshole is. Got no shame to discuss about him. So he was working at Insights for Kelly Hartman and Amy Pickett for 7 years. Come to find out, billing upwards to 2,000 units a month for them, which we're going to do some math here in a little bit, folks. Lands on our doorstep. I don't know any of this yet. Hire him. And within 6-7 months, we figure it out. We get rid of him. We pay the money back. And then we go to Beats hoping we can stop him from landing somewhere else.
Right.
We did everything that Kelly Hartman didn't do because she had him for 7 years. 7. And so like one thing I wanted to illustrate, I'm going to pull up a calculator, do some quick math and share my screen. One thing I really want to illustrate to the behavior consultants and to the industry out there. You see my calculator?
I do.
Cool. Can you see anything else on my screen?
I just see your
calculator.
Yeah.
All right, cool. So upwards of 1,000 to 2,000 units per month. So I'm just going to split it in the middle and go to 1,500, right? So 1,500 units a month, folks, is divided by 4 units an hour. 1 unit is 15 minutes. So you divide that by 4. That is 375 billable hours. Now, for anybody in our industry who knows, a billable hour is what we're allowed to charge the state for the work, but then there's unbillable time like travel, paperwork. You can't bill for billing. So I always tell people, until you're a seasoned veteran, add about 15 minutes to every hour. You know what I mean? Of like the paperwork, it's an average, right? Most days you don't need that extra 15 minutes, but like globally in total, to do our job, there's about 10 to 15 minutes of unbillable time per hour. It's the nature of social work, whatever. So you're telling me 375 billable hours in 1 month. So we're in April right now, Jennifer. Just for the sake of argument, how many working days are we going to have? 5, 10, 15. We work on Earth Day, 20, 21, 22. 22 working days this month. 22.
Yeah.
I'm going to divide this by 22 work days. You're telling me you billed for 17 hours? Plus drive time, plus meals, plus restrooms, plus social, plus family, plus sleep. You bill 17 hours a day. And if there's any behavior consultant who's listening to this now and watching this and starting to immediately come up with like, oh, what if they worked at night or on the weekends or fuck all? 17 billable hours a day. A day.
Right.
Not right. So we do the math, right? If Kelly is having him bill 1,500 units. Now, this was back when it was the old rate of 7,280. So divided by 4, the 375 hours times 7,280 per billable hour at that time, that's $27,300 per fucking month. I just realized I'm cussing a lot more in this episode.
You are.
Yeah. We'll go with it. So 27,300 a month in gross revenue. So you times that by 12 working months, $327,000 in gross revenue from one BC. Now, what do we assume his salary was there? Because he was employee. Kelly Hartman does not like contractors. She does employees. What do you think his salary was?
Didn't you? I don't know. I have no idea. But I mean, like he got a pretty good rate here, right? As a contractor who had experience, like
he did get a good rate here. But if I were to guess his salary for Kelly Hartman, I don't know, 75,000.
Sure.
That's gross salary plus they had employee expenses, employer taxes. So we're going to cut out 100,000 for what it took to employ him per year. That's still 227,000 net dollars in 1 year from David Martin's billing for Kelly Hartman. And so is that how she bought her Land Rovers and her luxury condo in Florida that she flies her executives to and doesn't give DSPs raises and blames the system? You know? Huh? People, like, that's a fuck ton of money. And I've got no qualms calling them out. He worked for them, come to find out, and was billing atrociously. And things came to blows with them, apparently, where they had threatened to call the police if he didn't leave. But again, folks, we don't even find this out until a year later because we're dealing with the repercussions. Because when Beads was hitting us with these caps, I went to them. I was like, no, this is trash. Have you done this to Kelly Hartman? And I have those emails where I call it out. He's been doing this. And if you guys don't stop, I'm pulling litigation. And then remember, they closed it immediately. But I saved those emails because those emails are going to come back up where I called it out. I informed you guys and you did nothing. They had the legal obligation to have taken that information and done something.
How can an investigative agency not have the power to stop this from happening? I guess that's just like been the most disheartening thing since all of this went down is that he's still practicing.
He just moved cities.
Yeah.
He just moved cities. We tried to
Mhm.
stop him. We tried to do the right thing, and we got
Yeah.
hit for doing the right thing. And that's
Right.
why we will never call them again. We will
Mhm.
never go to them because that's not the right thing. Respect us as the professionals. We are the ones in the trenches doing this. We're the practitioners. We got it. We will
Yeah.
hold them to the highest standard and quality. We always have. We've never faltered from that. But when you come in and, hey, I did a great job and you still punch me, I'm not coming to you again.
Well, and just think about that. I mean, like if you're a behavior agency, every time you hire a behavior consultant, you're always hoping you're hiring a great behavior consultant. I mean, and that's all you can do, right? You can look at the experience, you can look at the resume, you can look at all these things and go, this seems like a really high quality person. I'm going to hire this person. Okay. They work out in the field. We don't have eyes on them every day to know what they do every minute, every
No
day.
agency does.
So it takes, yeah, exactly. Across the board, all of you agencies across the state, right? When you hire someone over the months, if they mess up, I don't care if it's 1 month, 2 months, or 3 months, Beads is going to hit you and say it's your fault. Even if you have done everything right and you've been diligent and watched the billing and did everything you were supposed to do, and then you fired the individual and you contact Beats, they're going to go, oh well, we're going to send you a cap.
Yeah, multiples. And to me, they just like it's dumb shit. They're like copy and paste this policy into your manual. We have laws that say you can't do drugs and you can't like kill people. People still do drugs and kill people. I can't
Mhm.
policy out everything. I don't get it. It's written there. Who reads they sign, but who really reads the manual? I don't need to policy out everything. I need to be
Mhm.
the person who holds them accountable when they do things. And that's that simple. You can copy and paste all your bullshit policies that you want me to. I don't care. That doesn't change. People are still going to do great and still do very poorly. And
Yeah.
you're right. I interviewed him myself back then because I didn't have all the infrastructure of all the directors yet because I don't hire or interview anymore.
Yeah.
And so I interviewed him. He is articulate. I
Yeah.
had met him at INABC in the years prior. He's published. He'd been at Insights for 7 years. I called a
Well,
couple
and
case
he
managers
didn't
that
he
didn't say anything negative. Sure, here's an offer as a contractor.
well, and didn't he tell you that he had left Insights?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
believe he had been fired. I do believe he was fired.
Well, yeah, we learned that later. Yes. So his story,
Mhm.
of course, which that doesn't surprise me, right? He's like, no, I
Yeah.
quit. He said something about seeing the writing on the wall. I don't know. But then,
Mhm.
yeah, when it comes out later, there was some hostile situation and they were going to like call the police on him.
Yeah.
I wasn't there. Would have loved to have been a fly on the wall. But,
Right.
we learned all of this after. But mind you, we learned it after we already handled it.
Mhm.
Like he wasn't with us anymore. We had avoided
Yeah.
claims. We had handled it. And then they came. And I
Yeah.
finally got my fill. And I was like, you guys are not doing this to Kelly Hartman. And he was there for 7 years. And if this doesn't stop, we're going to fight. And that's when they closed them. But the second time, when we got the caps from Gina Shank,
Mhm.
they called my bluff and left it open because they didn't think I meant it when I said we'd litigate. And now we're litigating. Now we're
Yeah.
15 months into
Yeah.
litigation. And I don't care how long it takes. They do not understand how deep the well of protecting our people goes. Like,
Mhm.
we'll do this until I'm dead. I don't care. You're not getting away with it anymore. And they were. And I saved all the emails. I kept receipts.
Mhm.
Can't wait to
I,
publish.
and I, I don't know how they make policy. I don't know where, if they meet and make their policy or someone else meets and makes their policies and what they can do or can't do. But at the very least, you think that you would have a protective measure in place for our individuals.
No, they don't. They just shit on us when we're the ones doing the right thing. And Kelly's, bid rigging and getting all this grant money for nothing. They're not doing anything. They're just talking, controlling information for monetary gain. Mm-mm. No,
Mhm.
no. Our agency in its entire history has only ever received 10 corrective action plans. 4 in the wake of us telling the truth that we adopted Kelly's fraudulent biller and, didn't know. 4 for that. And then 6 for Gina Shank, which is why she's on trial. That's it. Our company to date has never received a single complaint from an individual, a guardian, a family member, a mother, a father. Never. If we do, we will handle it. We will remedy it to the best of our ability in their interest, not in the company's interest. But to date, we've only ever received complaints from competitors directly following us outperforming them. And in no other industry can you fucking stab us except this one for outperforming you. Never again.
That's an interesting point because, yeah, all of the conflict and all of the problems have always come from competitors. Like
That's
you
it.
know, and every now and then you might have a case manager call because there's a communication issue or there's something minor that you can usually work through, right? And we do that as directors, but like
Thank
actual like
goodness.
complaints, like no.
Never. Never.
Yeah.
No. And mind you, on that little caveat on the case managers, I'm officially banned from emailing with case managers, pending my recent behavior. So going forward,
What?
yeah, it's a self-imposed ban. Remember that case manager that emailed and I went pretty hard on her.
Oh,
Like, don't get me wrong,
okay.
she emailed. I'm not going to give specifics, but she emailed us on like a Friday afternoon with an ultimatum of like, hey, this is needs, and she used this verbiage, which like you fucked up. She said something about like, you need to have this in by the end of business on Monday, or I'm going to file an IR. Fucking file the IR. Don't email my behavior consultants or me with ultimatums and threats. If you feel like you have a scenario that warrants an incident report, file it. We will deal with it. If we're right, we will fight back. If we were wrong, we will fix it. But I banned myself from emailing with them. So you guys take that because I went a little harder on her than I needed to, but I was pissed. It was Friday afternoon. I saw it and I was like, don't do that. I don't care what day of the week it is. Don't email any of our behavior consultants like that. They're grown master's level professionals. Email them with respect and dignity. Even if they're wrong, I still get respect. Even if I like rear-ended somebody accidentally, I still get respect. Respect them. But yeah, I went a little hard on her, so I'm gonna stop emailing with them.
There's a lot of new case managers in the field right now, a lot of them, right? And so they're probably just sending some of the emails out that they're told to send. I mean,
Train your people better, because if they come at us out of pocket, we'll hold you accountable.
once you've been in, doing case management for years, and we know some of them, right? Like that's just not how they do it, right? Like you kind of learn how to manage things and work through it. But with so many new case managers, we're seeing
It's
some things that
exhausting. It's exhausting because like and this is maybe a personal arrogance of my own and I'll own it, but like when somebody who's been in the business for like 6 months wants to email one of us with audacity while we've been in the trenches for ages, while we've been changing policy, while we've been fighting the real good fight, while we have been reviving the industry, like, I don't know, it just pisses me off. Like when I was 6 months in the industry, I didn't say shit to anybody. I didn't start saying things to anybody until like year 2 or 3 of SBS after they came for us. We were just minding our own business. Yes, we were performing well as we were the highest payer in the state, and we continue to be the highest payer in the state because we hold the highest expectation. You will do great here, or you can go to a competitor and do not great there. And it wasn't until then when they all started coming for us, that's when like the shift happened. But before that, no, just doing my thing. It's until they started taking bites out of us. That's when it's like, all right, you guys didn't realize that I'm unreasonable and I like to fight. You should have done your homework before you came after us.
And she went ahead and filed that IR, didn't she?
She sure did. She showed me. She showed me.
You got a copy of it.
Sure did. And then what did they immediately do? Close it. Like I told you, because you've been in the industry for a couple months and don't know how it works. You had the audacity to think that was a viable threat. I don't care. I don't care about the incident reports. I don't care about the complaints. If one of our people does bad, I don't need any of that. We'll handle it.
Right. Yeah.
We will. We're not the other providers who care about the profit margins and want the money. We need the money to sustain, but after that, I don't care. Don't care.
Well, and I definitely want, especially since I'm a regional director, I want the case managers
We're not a regional director.
me. Yes, don't call Joaquin, call me.
True, but you're not a regional
Me.
director. You want to fix that real quick?
And I am still regional director
That's
and
fair.
I'm also a deputy executive director, so I'm doing both.
You're not a, you're the deputy executive director, but you're right. You do still cover blue team for now.
Yes.
For now,
Yeah.
that won't be hopefully too long. We got
Mhm.
some good candidates on blue team that might make some great
We
directors.
do. We have a really great team in the Indy area.
I'm looking for my prep, looking through my prep notes for this, and it's just like I'm reading my own writing. And mind you, when I write these, it's usually like between 4 and 5 in the morning, and I'm like,
Can't read it.
well, and like I'm already like up and like whatever thoughts came in immediately, like I'm already plugging away, and I'm sitting here like we did the right thing, and we were still hit with 4, and they were wildly unnecessary caps. Like we did them, and nothing changed. Like we hold ourselves responsible and accountable. I don't need mommy and daddy. I'm a grown professional man. Like I don't
What do you mean nothing changed? Like,
the system, us, like all that came from that was now we have resentment and bitterness with them because you stabbed us. But like nothing changes. Like, yeah, we did your caps, we got through it, and then like we just got back to being the best agency in this service.
it's almost just like, hey, well, this happened. We're going to set up this hoop here for you to jump through and jump through this hoop. And then when you're done jumping through all these hoops, then
Like a power flex, and I have no appetite for it. I don't care about your titles and your vanity and your authority. I don't give a
Mhm.
shit if it's not serving the forward progress of this. What does it matter?
Mhm.
I don't care about any of it. Um, and that's why, we recorded. That's why the recordings of Robin Corrothers saying all of that, like I played those snippets, but the full ones are
Mhm.
coming. The whole 40-minute conversations are coming with Robin Corrothers, multiple of them, with Amy Sears. Who am I missing? Shelley Thomas. Who am I missing? Jessica Harlan York. More of Holly Wimsett is coming. Like the truth is the truth. The facts are the facts. And if they wanted us to speak higher of them, they should have done better, been better people. You don't get to hurt professionals just because you feel like you can. We're
Mhm.
out there. I've talked about it in a prior episode. We're the social workers. We're the ones out there for a reason. 99% of social workers I've ever met are there because they became social workers because they were trying to figure themselves out or somebody in their family. And so it's personal for almost every single person here. Every now and again, you meet that one person who just took a job. They'll filter out long enough because they're not the social workers. They're not the diehards.
Right.
So we're all here for those reasons. And then we're taking on the burdens of everybody else because that's what we do.
Mhm.
Right. And then we have low wages, and then we have low supplies. And then we have people just taking chips out of us because they can. No, we pay the best because the social workers should be paid better. And you're not taking chips out of us anymore. If it is not proper, we're not doing it. If somebody fucks up and does something, heck yeah, you're fired, or we'll pursue this, or we'll figure that out all day.
Yeah.
Prove it. Don't call me and say, hey, somebody did bad. Okay, show me. Send me the information.
Right.
And if you can demonstrate they did, cool. Totally agree. Objectively agree. No problem. I don't care which BC it is in this company. There is nobody who is above reproach and can operate with impunity
Mhm.
unless their work is of that standard. And a lot of them are. I genuinely believe we have the best BCs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? 99% of them are amazing social workers, go above and beyond, and are
Mhm.
killing it, are innovative, are coming up with stuff, or will email ideas that like I haven't thought about that. You know,
Oh yeah.
we need
Yeah, I'm
that
gonna plug my indie team. I can't remember how many. We're almost to
50.
40. I feel like we always hover around 40.
Your team alone, yeah, like 40, 45, I think.
Yeah. Um, and they're just amazing.
Yeah, I mean, but one thing that like I hate about agencies, especially here, because it's so weird, because somebody will be like, oh, that BC or that rec therapist or that DSP did something, and then they just fully attribute it like now that agency. Calm down, folks. There's no agency that will ever exist where you're not going to have some people that just suck, whether
Yeah.
it's low work ethic, poor performance, or the fraudulent billers, because Medicaid fraudulent billing is a United States epidemic.
Yeah.
It is. Anybody who says it's not is ignorant. Like fraudulent
Right.
billing across every service line, from dentists to us, it's an epidemic in the country. But
And that's why we have to review it. And there's so many of us at this point that like
we
every
review
month,
it.
every bit. of that billing is filtered through
Multiple
director.
people. Yeah,
Yeah.
because it goes through regional director. Yeah, it goes through the directors and then to me, and we review
Yeah.
and we ask questions. We follow
Mhm.
up. Hey, this looks a little. Can you give us more information? We
Right.
don't care because I've always believed I will write down what I did. You're going to pay me for what I did, and we're good. So like, same thing for them. Like you get to build the way I build. What you did,
Mhm.
cool. And if you didn't, or if it's not a billable thing, it doesn't mean they're necessarily bad. Maybe they're newer or learning, but like
Right.
we will work on that. But then yes, when we find the bad ones, you're gone. All the other agencies have the exact same thing, except they don't pursue it like we do because they want the money. And we'll see if we get caught. And if we do, oh, sorry, we didn't know. No, we look for it because if it's here, we root it out and we get rid of it.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's monthly. Billing is monthly, and we review everybody's monthly because it's
Mhm.
money, it's billing. Like you don't get to lie about it. You don't get to, oh, I just, fluffed 200 units. You don't get to do that. No, nobody gets to do that. And so I don't feel bad that we review that. We check people. It's not
Mhm.
because we don't trust them. It's not because of this. It's because we want to ensure the notes are right, times match, the units match, and we are maintaining that level of quality that we expect here.
Yes.
But I will agree, every agency is going to have DSPs that suck, rec therapists that sucks, music therapists, BCs that suck. It happens. But unlike other agencies, Jennifer and I recently went through our entire company roster and basically made a list of our I don't want to phrase it disrespectfully, but like our lowest performing, and not in the sense of like units or billing. I don't care if you build 20 units a month or 200. I care if you
Mhm.
build 1,500 to 2,000, Kelly. But we went through and reviewed our roster and we identified a group of BCs across the state from all of our teams from like, okay, these individuals, I think we need to revisit and do some retraining. We need to kind of see if we can support them.
Yeah.
These
Yeah.
individuals, are on the chopping block per se.
Right.
And then these individuals, these 3, 4, or 5, I don't remember, we revoked their contracts. They're no
Yeah.
longer with us. They didn't do anything specifically. There wasn't an internal investigation. It was, you're not the best of us. It
Well,
was
and
work.
that's not always about billing. Sometimes that literally is about there's case managers calling or families have complaints or, you know, and that starts to build up as
And
it
we
can be
look at their
any.
work products. We do
Yeah.
our own internal compliance coppers every
Right.
quarter. And
Hmm.
we pull people's documents randomly from the portal and we review their work products. Is your BSP good or does it look like trash?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
we offer retraining, we offer everything. Don't get me wrong, the individuals that were cut had been here for at least a year or longer and had been coached, had been spoken to. You're still
Mhm.
not keeping up, you're still not putting in that effort. It's not personal. I'm not saying you're a bad
Mhm.
person. We just don't have space for you here,
Right.
you know?
Yeah. If you have 2, 3, 4 internal reviews that don't go well, like that starts to stack up against you.
Yeah. And to me, those are choices because we give you the feedback, we give you the documents, the tools to improve it. And if
Mhm.
you don't, well, that starts a pattern. And if that pattern reaches whatever our threshold is, it's time for you to go.
Yeah.
And so, like I said, those individuals that were cut, we have the right to revoke our contracts, as they
Mhm.
have the right to quit at any point in time. Like I received a forward today. We had a BC that said, "Hey, yesterday, the 31st was my last day. I'm out." Okay, I didn't like. Katie responded, of course, but like she forwarded it to me, so I know to like start pulling the file. But like, okay, don't know where you're
Yeah.
going. Don't care. Take care of yourself.
Best of luck.
Right. It's not that like we're insensitive. It's just if you've got wings, it's not my business to know where they're flying.
Mhm.
We don't control it. If you want to be here, you will. If you don't, you won't, unless we decide you can't be here because you're not doing well.
Mhm.
But yeah, we did those things because we hold everybody to a high standard and high quality, and we are producing the best service line in the I was about to say the country, in the state, probably the country, but I don't have that information. I just know the state. We're doing great, and we continue to innovate and we continue to find ways to do this service delivery better, and we're going to continue to outperform them. And that's why we have to draw this hard line, because you're not going to come stab us again and punch us again just because something happened. Humanity happens. People make mistakes. We'll handle it. We'll figure it out, and then we're going to go forward because we got work to do. We're not going to pitter patter with their drama and their politics and their cattiness of, well, we're friends with her, so you can't be better than her. Yes, I can. I work a lot harder than all of them. So we're going to be better.
Yeah.
Yeah. And drink a lot of monsters too. I told you I relapsed on these, didn't
No, you did not.
I? Oh, I've
I
went
didn't
like
know you
3 months.
quit. I thought you have always drank monsters. I didn't realize you had a period of not drinking.
I don't like to use the word like quit, just because like
You're
I went
not
like
a
a 3 month
quitter.
period where like I had really reduced it. But then like then I start to notice that, hey, like I'm compensating with like coffee, so it's like
Yeah.
just,
So the coffee goes up
so
and
then I'm undoing any like progress. So then at that point, it's like, just get your monsters, whatever.
aren't you drinking that death coffee? What is it called? It's like
Death
got the
wish.
skull and crossbones on it or something.
Yes. Today's is a death wish for sure. I got up early to get a good workout in first thing in the morning, and so uh, it's definitely death wish. But I mixed in, so now I'm mixing some of the grounds. So I did like a scoop of the death wish, which comes with all that extra caffeine. But then I did the holy cannoli, so the little bit of gentle flavor because it doesn't have sugar or any of that extra stuff. And then well, 2 scoops of that. So like, yeah, extra caffeine, but yeah, it's caffeine Monday.
Oh my gosh. Yeah,
Anywho, you think we covered it, Jen?
I think so.
I'd like to read a quick little thing for everybody that came through our inboxes today, which I just continue to further illustrate, like, in my opinion, the corruption in our industry, right? So INABC, Indiana Association of Behavioral Consultants, the corrupt association, we're the Indiana Behavior Association, not the Indiana Association of Behavioral Consultants. But their email came out today, and I'm going to read exactly what they sent, just a paragraph of it, and then I'll dive in. So I quote, because I copied and pasted it, INABC provides a direct link to timely information communicated from state entities. Our, in bold, INABC professional liaison, Kelly Hartman, has a seat at the table at the state level, and she keeps us up to date regarding changes that may affect our profession and the persons and families that we serve. Kelly provides a liaison update at each of our quarterly meetings and frequently offers 1 or 2 additional CEU trainings or an impromptu power hour to keep us up to date. She monetized controlling information for Indiana's disabilities industry that should be equally available to every single one of us, to every
Well, it is,
DSP.
isn't it? I mean, you can literally go to their website or get their emails, or I mean, those things like
But why does she get to
sign up to
control and
get their.
funnel information? Like, hey, if you guys aren't a part of our association, you don't get to know what to do in the Indiana's disabilities industry. That to me is a corrupt link. The state should provide everything uniformly, objectively to every one of us. We are the practitioners. Kelly Hartman should not be able to get paid $20,000 a year to monetize information that is prudent to all of us.
Yeah, I don't think it should be like one person is like the mouthpiece for an investigative agency.
That she
Uh,
competes against us in.
yeah.
What do you think ViaQuest was interested? We're not playing that anymore. You don't get to use these illegal tactics to illegally compete with us, which is what they were doing, which is why Gina Schenk is on trial, which is why we're going for a few more people too. I'm not going to give that away yet, but we don't get to do this. This is literally, I always use this one. It's not Ferrari and Lamborghini. I really liked that movie. Like, it's not proprietary turbos that you invented. Hey, you invented that, patent that. Like, I don't know anything about that. This is social work. This is Indiana's disabilities industry. My job is to perform the best behavioral management services that I can for our disabled friends and family. You're not going to corrupt it and monetize information that we all need. No.
Well, yeah, and I mean, Bede should just continue to be the one to share the information, and that same information should go out to everyone across the state, whether they are in INABC or in our association or not in any association, right? As you're just a BC, like
You
you
should have
shouldn't
access.
have to feel like you have to join any association so that you get pertinent information from Beats.
To do a good
You
job. Why do
can
I have to
get,
pay money?
yeah.
Because you got to pay money to be a part of the association. And then their association pays Kelly like 15, 20 grand a year, probably more now. I don't know. Like, what? Why does state level information pertinent to Indiana's disability industry, why does that have to cost me money to just be like, hey, this is what's changing?
Mhm.
That's why we're out of there. That's why we left.
Yeah.
That's why we made our own association. And it's garbage. It's so like reading that like was nauseating. Oh, we have Kelly Hartman and she's got her corrupt hooks in. Cool, good for you. We are undoing that.
Mhm.
Kelly Hartman is being subpoenaed to testify at Gina's trial. INABC and their ethics complaint is FOIA requested, which they've never responded to, which is fine. We will petition the court to compel them. It's okay. We will get it one way or another, or the truth that there probably wasn't one and you just tried to bully us on your own. Either way, it's coming. It's actually here. It's April. Discovery is due in 3
Oh,
weeks.
is it really?
Yeah, and I'm gonna read it. I've already blocked off like 3 days of like my phone will be on. I'll throw my phone away. I don't care. I'm just gonna be sitting reading and going through everything, assuming we get most of it. I think that they're gonna
Or it's
hide
not going to
my
be delayed again, right? I mean, it might just be delayed.
yeah. I mean, we'll see. But like once I get it, I'm gonna lock myself in here and it's gonna be great. And we're gonna keep producing and publishing the facts, the truth, the facts. We brought it to the state. We brought it to everybody. I have filed complaints with Kelly Mitchell, with Daniel Rusniak, with Holly Wimsat. I mean, we did everything that we could, and then we litigated. Like we did. We followed it. We filed grievances. We made complaints. They ignored it, didn't investigate when we were saying, hey, they're doing illegal stuff. They literally dismissed us. Like, you can't do
Mhm.
that.
You
It's
can't
like,
pick and choose who has the good complaint, or like, no, we don't want this complaint. We're going to go with this complaint over here.
yep. And now we're going to hold them to the fire. They had every opportunity to do the right thing. Like I was told by Amy Sears, this is why you would do that. Do the right thing. No, doing the right thing got me stabbed. I'm not coming to you guys anymore. Never. And I'm pretty sure because I've had a few conversations with her. I have to re-listen to all of them before they like I prep them for release. But
Mhm.
it's on that conversation. It's on one of the recordings with Amy Sears where she's like, it's the right thing to do. And a bunch of other bullshit. Like she told me in the recording that caps are recommendations, not requirements, that we can choose to do other stuff. That's not true because we tried.
Yeah. That's right. I forgot about that.
Yeah. Yeah. All of that's coming. All of that's getting released. Just a
Yeah.
matter of time. It's a matter of I'm following the chronological timeline and making sure that like I narrate the context so that people are able to like follow and understand, you know, what went on. But public is coming and facts are
It's
facts.
going to be a big podcast month, isn't it?
Oh yeah, yeah. A shit ton of episodes are coming.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have to protect ourselves because they lie, they cheat, they steal, they commit fraud, conspiracy. So we have to protect ourselves, which is why we started publishing everything. It's the only way because do you know how many people I went to looking like me and people were like, you don't know what the hell you're talking about, you giant tattooed ogre. Okay. But then when I started showing them emails and phone call recordings, oh shit, we can't ignore him anymore.
Yeah.
That is what I learned as a young man is I had to record things because nobody tells the truth and people wouldn't listen to me. Okay.
I never said that. What are you talking about?
You didn't, huh? Okay.
Oh, wait a minute.
Here it is.
You have a
And just
recording of me saying that?
sure do. And just a disclaimer and reminder, folks, Indiana is a one-party state. So as long as one person in the conversation is consenting to the recording, I can do it. Now, if
Yeah.
Jennifer's having a conversation with her partner and I'm not in the conversation and I'm recording it, that's eavesdropping. That's illegal.
Mhm.
But I can record any conversation that I'm a part of. I have that right. And
Mhm.
so I've been doing it since I was a young man, teenager probably. I had to. People lie. And I'm like not like don't get me wrong, I'll lie about silly stuff. Like, of course you have to, right? That's not that concrete, but like if you tell me things like I remember it, and then when I come back, I'm like, hey, this is what you said, and you're full of shit, I'm gonna hold you accountable. And so we're gonna play when Robin Corrothers tells us, hey, you know, with Gina, there's no evidence. We're gonna play where she goes, yeah, well, that's what they like to do. You know, they like to hit you guys, even though like you can't do anything about it. Okay, well then this is improper. Policy needs to change. Oh well, we can't do anything about it. The fuck we can't. We're changing policy. We're changing things.
Mhm.
So
Well, and I mean, isn't that their, not to keep dragging this out, but I mean, that's their thing is like, hey, you need to update your policy and we need to come back and go like, well, maybe you should update yours.
glad you said that. Yeah, yeah, no, things are
Can
changing.
you
We're
send
not
them a cap? Can we send them a cap?
right. Can I send them some? So like why, truthfully, candidly, a big reason why I wanted to publish that internal investigation was to be transparent and set the standard and let people know like this is how we should handle it. That
Yeah.
individual isn't a bad person, isn't a bad BC, but in the moment,
Right.
he still did something. He's still accountable, just like you rear-ending somebody out on the road.
People make mistakes. Mistakes are made.
But we're publishing it to protect ourselves because we're not going to let beats keep hitting us just because they don't like me.
Yeah.
You don't need to like me. I don't need to be liked to produce the best service line in the state. I don't. I have equal opportunity, not equal outcome, equal opportunity. I preach that every time. I should have the legal same opportunity as Kelly Hartman, as Gina Schenk, as Jennifer David, as James Ferraro, as Sandra Miller, as Tracy Gibson, as Renee Doman, Doug Duggar, you name them, Tracy Gibson. I have the same opportunity legally, objectively, non-discrimination, right? But equal outcomes is not a real thing. Everybody has different skills, work ethics, motivations. The engine that drives me right now is revenge. I can own it. I'm mad. People hurt us and hurt this company and hurt the people that we serve, and I'm coming back for our pound of flesh because you can't do that. I work harder than them, so my outcome is on that, not on their corruption and their ability to get their friends at the state to just jab us and knock us down a few stairs. No, I trained harder than you. I earned winning. Success is a privilege. It is not a right. You do not have an entitlement to success. You do not have an entitlement to get to the top of the mountain and stay on the top of the mountain. You got to train your ass off to get to the top. And then if you want to stay on the top of the mountain, you got to keep doing it every day. You're not entitled to stay up there just because you reach there. Good for you. The next guy's going to reach there too. And the next
Start doing your non-competes so you don't have to work so hard anymore.
You don't have to innovate. They just keep you trapped, hostage.
Right. I trained you. You're mine.
I trained you. You owe me your time.
I got you for 20 years.
Jennifer, I appreciate you. I'm gonna quit. I'm gonna get off my soapbox. You got any final thoughts on this as we round out?
I'm not going to give any final thoughts because I went to give a final thought last time and you were like, click.
Oh, the last episode?
You
that was
did.
fun because I
It was
started
kind
us
of funny.
mid-sentence and then I ended it. I went and reviewed it afterwards and I like it. It was cool. I'll do it. All right, folks, 17 subscribers. Thanks for listening to us. We're going to have there's a good narrative in the description. Feel free to read it. Feel free to reach out to Indiana Behavior Association at gmail.com. I'm not behind that email. The president of the association is Maisha Richmond. She's a fantastic president and fantastic behavior consultant. But she's behind that email. She's the boss there. I'm not behind that. So, but reach out, come discuss with us, come argue with us. If you have a different perspective, I mean, it's available. That's all I got. See you guys next time.